All right, so National Doctors' Day is celebrated to recognize the contributions of physicians to individual lives and communities. The day varies from nation to nation depending on the event of commemoration used to mark the day. In some nations, the day is marked as a holiday, although supposed to be celebrated by patients and benefactors of the healthcare industry. It is usually celebrated by healthcare organizations. Staff may organize a lunch for doctors to present the physicians with tokens of recognition. Historically, a card or red carnation may be sent to physicians and their spouses, along with a flower being placed on the graves of deceased physicians. So, happy National Doctors' Day. Ladies, what do you think?
It's a good one to commemorate. I think they are very vital in the society. It's only a place in Nigeria that they are not recognized as they should, celebrated and even paid for their effort as should. So
I was going to say the remuneration in Nigeria is even what is most killing. You see a lot of our doctors running out of the country.
We have some of the best doctors
in the world.
Nigeria produces
some of the best minds. Irrespective of the field we go into.
So
absolutely.
Happy National Doctors' Day. I'm just hearing it now. I wish I knew out of all the doctors I know. But I can still do that tomorrow.
You can still do that. It's not too late.
It's never late.
Today, after this show, is Dorime.
You're on a different beat today. Oh, boy.
Let me start with
an encounter. Oh, God.
What was the encounter?
Never mind. We're on national TV now. We'll go back to that behind stage. What I have is the news is about the Kaduna Train Attack, and this is from Punch newspaper. And Northern Group tells Buhari to sack incompetent service chief. They have the opinion that a civil society organization, Northern Advocacy for Peace, has called for the immediate resignation of the service chief or be sacked by the president, Major General Muhammad Buhari. The group said the recent attack on the Abuja-Kaduna Train Airport, as well as the wanton killing and destruction of property in many parts of the country, has shown that the service chiefs are incompetent and should leave or be made to leave. In a statement on Wednesday by the leader of the group, Khalifa Shuaibu, the group said that the president must be decisive in his action as terrorists are shutting down the country. The group went ahead to commiserate with families who lost loved ones in the attack. We wonder what has gone wrong with the intelligence in the country. The bandits openly operate freely over 3 hours, shooting and subjecting the passengers to horrible torture and kidnapping others without any resistance from the Nigerian security force. It is really sad, to say the least, that we cannot feel safe in our country where we used to be so free-spirited and easy to travel without worries at night. If this can happen, it really begs the question as to really who gets to get hanged for some of this evil that happens in our society.
I think I tweeted
and my concern is that many a time we sweep this conversation under the carpet. We make a lot of noise on it on social media, and after some days, you just go back to business as usual. I really have a problem with an attitude where people make agitation online, and it doesn't go beyond that chat and tweets. And going about the different comments and retweets of so many people reacting to that young lady that passed away, it's most unfortunate how we have become as a nation. This is not just about the leaders. It's even about the irresponsibility we display towards another when severe and serious issues happen to us. So, for me, really, some heads needs to rule for this. We need to start to take decisive action as regards some of these menace that happen in our society. Pretty much my thought.
That's your story, please. I feel very sad.
Yeah, I mean, we talked on it yesterday, right? And there's no official statement from... Anyway, my story, it caught my attention. Like, opened it, says number of poor people in Nigeria to reach 95 million in 2022. It is this year that is 2022.
Who even says they're not more than that?
The World Bank has said that the number of poor Nigerians is projected to hit 95.1 million in 2022. The report noted that COVID-19 crisis is driving up Nigeria's poverty rate, pushing more than 5 million additional people into poverty by this year. According to the bank, it says, and I quote, were the crisis not to have hit, the poverty headcount would be forecast to remain virtually unchanged, with the number of poor people set to rise from 82.9 million in 2018 and 2019 to 85.2 million in 2020 and 90 million in 2022, due largely to natural population growth. Now, given the effect of the crisis, however, the poverty headcount rate is instead projected to jump from 40% in 2019 to 42% in 2020 and 42.6% in 2022, implying that the number of poor people was 89 million in 2020 and will be 95 million in 2022. Taking the difference between these scenarios, the crisis alone is projected to have driven an additional 3.8 million Nigerians into poverty in 2020, with an additional 5.1 million living in poverty by this year. Recall that last year, President Muhammadu Buhari claimed that his government lifted 10.5 million Nigerians out of poverty between 2019 and 2021, but a report on Premium Times, actually a fact-check report, found the claim to be very untrue. And this report also said that, our decline is not just about COVID-19. With or without COVID-19, we've been on that,
we're on that path.
So I don't know what's the, anyway, that's my story.
Let me just, is it pedal it back?
Pedal it back, that's our English.
Be pedal forward from what you're saying, because again, I think most of us must have seen that video yesterday at the Abuja Stadium, where they went and they destroyed a lot of property. I even hear that one of the officials has passed.
He died, yeah.
He died. So the veteran actor of Nollywood, Richard Mofe Damijo, that's RMD, said that the storming and destruction of the pitch of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja was a sign of Nigerians' frustration. He said that he also probably made reference to the train attack, the Abuja-Kaduna Train Attack, and he said, my heart goes out to the family of those who lost their lives, the wounded, and those who will be traumatized by the incident for a very long time. At this time last year, I was on the same train to Kaduna, and we talked about how unsafe life is and risk we were taking. We are the lucky ones. The actor also said in the same post about the pandemonium, saying that, these Nigerians were just looking for triggers, as it seems like we are bitter and we are angry.
That's the word.
Now, so it says, if anything is an indication of how broken we are today, then the shameful storming of the pitch and the destruction of the stadium, the M.K.O stadium in Abuja, is a clear indication. People are angry and bitter, and they are just looking for triggers.
How does that even justify that behavior, though?
So when Elsie is talking about 95 more people going into
95 million,
95 million people, going down into poverty by the end of this year, 2022. It just tells you that it's going to get worse. For the first time, I'm not one that says I want to relocate out of this country. For the first time today, I was having a chat with my sister. I said, Faith, I'm truly tired because I'm broken. People died. People were shot. People died. Bomb blast, everything was happening. And yet, some people were still gathering in different halls, eating and drinking and felicitating, as if nothing happened. This was the same incident that happened, if you remember clearly, when it was around election time. Jonathan, I think they went to, was it Ibadan or so, one celebration that we all went, everybody went haywire. We're saying, how can you be so insensitive? They just kidnapped some people and you are there dancing and shaking your body and all of that. Is it that we have gotten to that point where there's no sense of humanity in us?
There was what exactly screenshot you sent to me. I actually thought you were going to read that as well. The one from Williams to Chamber.
Yes.
I think you should read that out. Because my phone isn't here, I would have read it out.
So Williams to Chamber also even, because a lot of people are raging. Even, what's her name? Lepasho's boss. She came out to say it seems like nobody is even paying attention.
Nobody's taking responsibility.
Everybody's just quiet about this thing.
There's a lot of conspiracy of silence around issues that should be immediately addressed, and then we don't hear nothing.
Show empathy.
And they just allow everything to... There's an attitude of, let them, they will soon get over it.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is a major, major pain point. That means, irrespective of what happens, some people just feel like they are untouched and they cannot be affected. Because if not that's the sense of attitude. We should get instant responses
like it
to issues.
Okay, so this is Williams
in
Chambers.
In the movie we see that they call press conferences, they call a lot of emergency meetings because there's a crisis that there's a lot of breaking news.
Yeah, so Williams Chambers was saying that he also tweeted, or sorry, he's on his Instagram story, he says, maybe it was good that we lost, so we can channel our anger on the pressing issues in the country, because we're talking about the football. We didn't qualify for the World Cup. See, almost 1,000 Nigerian citizens cannot be accounted for, and some people are acting like it is a normal thing. That is what is breaking my almost yes, because from the train two nights in a row, right? It says it is taking. If it takes losing a match to get us upset and know that we are in a hellhole, so be it. He now says some heads of state are yet to make a statement on this issue. I guess they are busy planning for 2023. Like, have we gone to that point where all that matters? Who are you going to govern if we are all dead? Like, who are you going to govern? Who would you be leading? Who would you be? Who would?
Their children.
I do not even think losing a match really changes anything as such. It only means that attention. And one thing about the generation of today that I think we are worried about, aside from we calling out the leaders, we have a sense of apathy as individuals, as Nigerians. We tend to always want to feed on trends and news, irrespective of how good or bad it turns. If not, people would not just talk about it and leave it. We should start to write letters. We should start to place demand for response. We should start to call. There should be a call to action when there's an event. We should just learn to put groups together. We're not saying go and disrupt peace of the society. Let's appoint people that are going to be spokespersons for us when there's an issue like this, that would go out and address the right authority and seek clarification and seek explanation so that we can start to get some closure. Because when events happen and there is no explanation and there's nothing, they just watch us run ourselves wild, and then over time say, it will soon pass. And it always passes.
And it surely does.
Always passes.
You know what, let's take a break, because we have our guest with us. It's just a very... I mean, to say I'm heartbroken is an understatement. I've never considered leaving this country, but I think
now you're thinking about it.
We'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll be
if all of us check out who is going to hold Nigeria
as well.